So this is the cheapest stylus pen on the market right now, and I got this on Amazon for £10. And I mean, there are a whole lot of stylus pen out there, and depends on what you want to use it for. And I got this for £10 on Amazon, and this is not the first time I will use a stylus pen. This is my second time. I got the first one I got sometime last year, and for some reason my nephew he threw it away sometime. I don't know. So I got this again. So before I dive in to review this thing, I want to first of all tell you something. And I mean, in recent years, we are buying tech stuff, we are buying tech things that we don't necessarily use. And personally, I'm interested to telling people or encouraging people to make wise take choices, like buying stuff you need for the things that you actually need it for. So I bought this thing because I want to use it on my iPad 10th generation 10.9 inches in 2022. So I've been using the stylus pen for a while, and for some reason, I don't know, my nephew misplaced it and I got this thing. This is just £10 on Amazon. So I bought this for a particular thing. I use my hands, my fingers to tap my iPad and stuff like that. But for some reason, that sometimes I need to sign stuff, and then sometimes I need to sketch stuff. So those are the key things I really need this thing for. So if I'm thinking about something, do I really need the Apple Pencil for those just two things that I'm using the stylus pen for? The answer is no. So that's the reason why I got this thing. So now coming back to telling people to make wise tech choices, saving your money to get a lot of things. In recent years, for instance, the Apple Vision Pro thing, the sales have, drastically reduced. Not because people don't have money to buy them, but because people don't really have need for those kind of things. Now, for instance, before you get into a full ecosystem, most times you're talking about £10,000. So let me just give you an instance. I'm using the iPhone, but I'm not using the Apple Watch, for instance, the Ultras and the series and stuff like that. I'm using the CMF by Nothing Watch Pro. This goes for £69. So I've sort of saved a lot of money there. So I'm using the iPad 10th generation 10.9 inches in 2022. This is 2024. By hearing rumors of the iPad, the new iPad coming in, some few days now, for instance. So I'm using my iPad, and for some reason I'm using this cheap thing just for two basic things that I need: sketching and sometimes signing of documents. So does that really mean you have to spend a lot of 200 £300 to buy the third generation Apple pencils just because you want to sign documents? For me personally, no. But if you have the money and that's what you really need to do it for, fine, you can go ahead and do it. But I'm interested in making people, encouraging people to make wise tech choices, like for instance something like this. So I've got the iPhone recently. You've got the iPhone, you got the Apple Watch, you got the AirPods, and stuff like that. And in most cases, we don't really use these things. We just buy them for buying sake, or just because they're compatible. And then we use some of these things, and we use part of them. And then on the other hand, we don't even use them at all. So that's just it. So I've got my iPad there, and I got this thing just for the two things I need them for. That's just it. So talking about the review of this thing, this is £9, and of course a whole lot of stylus pens out there. It's like a generic thing. So if you go on Amazon, this is one of the cheapest stylus pens you could get on the internet, on Amazon, stuff like that. So this comes from a company called Dogain. I don't know what that means, but it's giving me what I really want. So for instance, you got a whole lot of features here which I really need and which I really admire. For instance, you have your high precision here, you have your magnetic function, so you are able to put this here, and while you're not using it, you just tap it here and it just something like that. So something like that, for instance. So you just put it here, but for some reason it doesn't align. I don't know, it doesn't align, stuff like that. So you have your magnetic stuff there. So you have your intelligence switch and you have your palm rejection. So while you are writing, while you are writing on this thing, it has a palm rejection technology. So if you want to turn this on, you just need to double tap here, and there are some 4 dots, LED dots there that shows you that it's on, and then you double tap it and it goes off, double tap it and comes on. So while this thing is on, you can sketch, do a whole bunch of things that you want to do it on the iPad and stuff like that. Most of all, this thing has US type C charging port, which is what I really love. And in recent years, you are not bothered about the lightning cable and stuff like that. You just need to carry your USB type C and it charges. You can plug anything that you want. So that's one thing I love about this thing. So it has lots of nibs there. You can a lot of nibs, you can change some of these things and stuff like that. I think there are like 3 there as well. So it's just a basic stylus pen, stuff like that. So you can just use it to sketch, to sign document on your iPad and stuff like that while you're not using this thing. So that's just the reason why I got this thing. So I was like, all right, so if I'm just going to use just sketch stuff and sign document, why am I going to spend a whole lot of money trying to get this thing? So that's just it. And then another thing is that this has some form of tilt function. So you are able to tilt it some way, somewhat like this, and write and sketch and stuff like that. So there are loads of features on this thing. But one thing, this does not have Bluetooth connectivity like the premium, the high-end Apple Pencil, stylus pen, stuff like that. So once you just take it close to this thing, you are able to just write and sketch and do everything that you need to do. So that's just it. So this is £10. So if you are looking for some sort of stylus pen that you don't really want to spend money on it, you can go with something like this, and it's compatible with the iPad 7, 6, 8, 9, 10 generation. So you don't need to be bothered about that. So I've used this thing so far, and the battery lasts like forever and stuff like that. So you don't really need to be bothered about trying to get the high end, the most expensive Apple pencils. You can just get something like X, except you really have a particular thing in mind, or you really have some particular things that you really want to do with all of those Apple pencils. So I would just advise you to go with this for a basic use, for everyday use and sketching and everyday functions. There are loads of features on this thing that you can just enjoy. So that's just it for this thing. So guys, what do you think about this Dogen? Is it Dogen stylus pen? And what do you think about this Dogen stylus pen? Is it something like you can get, or you just want to go with the high end that are premium, compatible with your iPad and stuff like that? I don't know. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you take down there? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.